seeing each other at a distance. It does look, the Zoom meetings, even though the Zoom meetings are enjoyable, this is more enjoyable. But, it's good to see everybody all in a cluster. I don't know if you're practicing social distancing on purpose or that just worked out that way. But, and guys, I don't know about you. I don't know what your thoughts are. The coronavirus doesn't bother me. I'm not afraid of getting it. I don't want to give it. And so I know that, there's some people, Henry and Carol, were planning to be here this morning. They said they were all dressed, ready to go. They've got a flat tire. So they're waiting on AAA. So Henry said he didn't know how long it was going to take AAA to get there. Other people are like, what, we're going to wait a little bit longer, which is fine, guys, understandable. I know other people like, man, we're torn between whether to come or whether to stay at home. I said, if you have any reservation, stay at home. And guys, one of the things I would like to encourage you is think about what you are learning spiritually during these strange times. And we could discuss all of the philosophy of what's going on in our world. I don't know about you, but I believe this is all ushering us closer to the end. We're seeing things take place and happen that is setting the stage, guys. For what the future holds. And so, we need to be mindful of that. I know, when we think about meeting, as I was driving in this morning, I didn't see very many churches that were open today. I know a lot of churches are still going to, they're going to wait until next weekend, which is fine, to start back up because of the social distancing ideas. And boy, guys, but remember, church is more about than just being in a building together. And we'll look at that in the message this morning, even as we think back to our last Sunday together, or maybe even the Sunday before that. Or does it seem weird that it's been 2 months since we've been in service together? March the 15th was our last Sunday together. And remember we were talking about, in China, how they were, cities were blockading, not letting anybody in, nobody out. People were not on the streets. We were talking about isolation. That would have probably been the Sunday before, so that would have probably been the 8th of March, because on the 15th is kind of when we did the open forum and just talked. So, weird. But, one of the things that I think about, guys, this time where we have not been gathered together has, at least to me, helped us to realize that, our individual spiritual health. I think sometimes people look at church, and church is all that their spiritual life consists of. They come to church, they listen to the message, they get up, they walk out. That's the only thing that they have spiritually. And maybe that's what they think, that's good enough. Guys, I can tell you, that's not sufficient. That's not good enough. We need individual spiritual food, nourishment, discipline, exercise. And so I hope that during this time, I've had people say to me that they've read the Bible more in these last 2 months than they've ever read it before, which is fantastic. And so keep that in mind. Let me read a verse, and then I think it'd be good for us to start off with prayer. These are a couple of verses that, as I was reading, that I thought would be fitting to the coronavirus. The psalmist said, "O my strength, I will watch for you. For you, O God, are my fortress." Aren't you glad that the Lord is our fortress? The Lord is our high tower. The Lord is our refuge. He's the one that protects us. And then in Psalms 59:16, the psalmist said this. He said, "But I will sing of your power. Yes, I will sing aloud of your mercy in the morning. For you have been my defense and refuge in the day of my trouble." You have been my defense and my refuge in the day of my trouble. And guys, these have been troublesome days, right? Not just because of the coronavirus. I was thinking, right at the beginning, as things were shutting down, Shirley Duke's mother passed away. Here we are right at the end of things opening back up. Jerry Vanover passed away. Terry Cobb passed away. And so, and looking and seeing the events that are going on and taking place, the things that are happening. And so there's lots of stuff going on besides the coronavirus or COVID-19. There are sicknesses, there are transitions, there are injuries, there's death, there's life. And so let's just remember that the Lord is the one that we look to for all of our hope and our peace. So why don't we look to the Lord in prayer, and then we'll have Paul come and lead us in some songs, okay? Father, it is a joy to once again gather together. And Lord, we're thankful that as we read in your word, Lord, wherever we are, Lord, there you are. Lord, as the psalmist said, Lord, where can I go from your presence? For if I would ascend to the highest hill, Lord, you are there. If I would descend to the deepest valley, Lord, you are there. If I would go to the furthest spot in the sea, Lord, you were there. Lord, if I would go even to the place of the dead, Lord, you are there. Father, help us to remember that wherever we are, Lord, you are with us. And that, Lord, as we have come together today, Lord, help us to remember, Lord, what our time together is all about. And Lord, help us to sense your presence, Lord, to be aware of your leadership, and Lord, to be obedient, Father, to your leading, your guiding, that, Lord, in everything, Father, we might be your instruments, Father, to minister to one another today. Lord, again, thank you for this time. Help us to glorify you in Jesus' name. Amen. Brother Paul.
Shall we stand and turn, if you will, to some wonderful favorite classics this morning? 648, our first hymn, 648, I'll Fly Away, as we welcome everyone back. Hymn 648, all three stanzas, if you would, please. Everyone sing out if you can. Hymn 648. Somewhere morning when this life is over,
I'll fly away.
hymn 237. Just the first and last, if you would please, just the first and last. Brother Rick says, sing another one. To 680, if you would please, and stand. Hymn 680. Mother's Day today, that glad reunion day, hymn 680. Everyone standing, if you would please. All shall we sing all three stanzas.